And that's just the way I love my figures. Already beat to hell. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight, I'm taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Marvel Knights, Jessica Jones, and Punisher. Now, I decided to double up on these only because I couldn't wait to open either of them. And I know that's a dumb excuse, but seriously, I had the Punisher in here by himself. I was going to review him. I sat down, and I thought, but I want to open Jessica Jones too. And going back, I do double up a lot. So I get through the wave quicker. I'm leaving for San Diego tomorrow. I thought, hey, get these two out of the way, then I'll come back to just three. But also, we saw these two almost exactly a year ago. They were debuted at San Diego Comic-Con 2016. They were amazing. We hadn't, I don't think we'd seen them in the Netflix series as yet. I don't think we had seen them on Netflix yet in the actual shows, Daredevil Season 2 and then Jessica Jones, but that was a long time ago. You guys know me, I have no concept of time whatsoever. It could have been, you know, I watched it last week, it could have been last year, it could have been when I was 5. I don't know. So that's another reason to double these two up. Plus, Daredevil goes with Elektra, those will pair up nicely, and then I'll get to Blade. But looking at the packages, it's the standard Marvel Legends box, this time around for the Marvel Knights series, or the Netflix series as some people call it. We have a red background. It has that rooftop scene in the back. It looks striking. I like this with the Star Wars Black series. I like it here, so it works all the way around, because especially with these figures being mostly black, it kind of stands out against the background. I like that. Plus, the windows are huge. You see what you get. These are probably my favorite toy packages on the market right now. On the sides, we have those Netflix stylized type pictures of both of the characters. On the back, pretty promotional pictures of both figures. The rest of the wave down here, you build Man-Thing. I can't wait to get to the rest of these. I can't wait to see Man-Thing. Down here we have a bunch of warnings, a bunch of unreadables. Probably says something like, do not piss these action figures off. They will come back. Hell, Punisher's already had his ass kicked. He's ready to kick someone's ass. And then, of course, Jessica Jones will, wait, it says it right here, punch you in the face. On the other side, same stylized pictures from the other side. On the top, we have their individual logos. I don't remember Jessica Jones having anything like that, but that is kind of nifty. I like that. It probably showed up somewhere, and like I said, I don't pay attention to stuff like that. On the bottom, a bunch of legalese, barcodes. But I'm going to get these out of the package and see exactly what's going on here. And there we go, all out of the package. And before I get too far, let me remind everybody that I got these at Dorkside Toys. Eddie, who runs Dorkside Toys, great guy. You couldn't ask for a nicer guy. Not to mention the customer service. He sent these out as soon as they came in stock. He sells loose figures for those of you who don't need the Build-A-Figure piece, or you just want the Build-A-Figure. He'll sell the Build-A-Figure by itself, too. Anything you need, anything you want, Dorkside Toys. Now, looking at the Punisher sculpt, I do think this is all new. The legs seem like reuse, maybe on Winter Soldier or the old Nick Fury, but I don't think so. I think these legs are superior to those back then. They finally got the sleeve sculpt right, where the arms will lay down to the sides, but I do have a problem, and I will say elbows. In fact, on both figures, I'm going to say elbows. Ugh. Flip around to paint. Not a lot of paint here, just really cast in black, and that's about it, except for the Punisher skull on the chest. Up to the head, I couldn't ask for a better head on this figure. It looks just like Punisher from the series. It looks just like whose name just slipped right out of my head. I had it 2 seconds ago, I swear, and now coming back around. Shane. We'll call him Shane. It looks just like Shane, except I like his Punisher character more than I like Shane. But anyway, and then around to paint, I still think Hasbro's doing some kind of printing technology up here, at least on the live action characters. And it comes across really well here. The eyebrows are nice, the eyes are nice. Lip color, the 5 o'clock shadow is just great. But you get up to the hair and it's just straight black, transitions into a gray. Well, I say transitions, it just goes from black to gray, and that's supposed to be a transition from, you know, the shaved part of his head up to actual hair. So I feel like that could be a little bit better, but damn, the face, you can't ask for better than this on a $20 action figure. Flip around to Jessica Jones, again, all new sculpt, but Mary Jane made it out before her, so we've seen these pants before. But we saw this figure a year ago, and at that time, this was all new sculpt. We have the pants, we have the boots that I folded over almost all the way down on themselves, boot cuffs, get up to the jacket, it looks great, sleeve arms, elbows. It's a little bit small, but it is great. And then paint, it's pretty much just a wash to the jeans, make them look kind of worn, and then the silver on the zipper on the jacket. And then the fingerless gloves, while I like this look, I love the look actually, the paint on the fingers don't quite match the flesh of the neck and the face. And going up to the head, again, that face printing technology, looking great. Yeah, I skipped right past sculpt, went to paint. I love the eyes here, the lips. It's a little bit natural looking, no makeup, but that was Jessica Jones. But we get to the sculpt, and it's not quite Kristen Ritter. I remember her name, but I can't remember Bernthal's name. Well, there that is. Stuff just pops in my head randomly. But the sculpt on Jessica, not quite Ritter. And I don't know if they did that on purpose so you could double this with your comic collection in case you wanted to do Jessica Jones with your comic Luke Cage or your Avengers or wherever you want to use her. This works. I just would have liked to seen it closer to Ritter because hot. Now, like I said, as you can see, Jessica Jones does come out a little bit smaller than Punisher, but I'm okay with it. I think what it comes down to most is the hands, and just a huge difference there. But heads, and even really height, looking at it like this, okay, I guess it's passable. Now, out of the package, the abdomen on mine was turned. Actually, I bought a case, so there's two of them, and they were both like this. And at first I thought, well, hell, they didn't even paint all of the skull. But after I opened it up, it's actually turned a little bit. So center it up, bring that back around, and it looks really, really good. So don't judge it in the package. Don't go, oh, that paint sucks, I'm passing on that one. It's probably turned to the side. The joints on mine were pretty tight. I mean, these knees will pinch the hell out of you if you have your finger right there and you try to bend it. Huge, huge detents there, which is good. I mean, that means it doesn't loosen up. It'll hold its stance. But we get to the elbow, and I absolutely hate it. Hate's a strong word, but I'm going to use it anyway. I hate it. There's a swivel at the bicep. There's a swivel at the elbow. Why? There's no reason for that. You can twist here. Why do you need to twist here? Plus, it really limits the range of motion in the elbow. And for a shooting guy like Punisher, he needs all the elbow he can get. Don't get me wrong, the overall piece, I'm McDonald's all over it. I'm loving it. But yeah, I don't know. Putting a gun in his hand, as we'll see in a little bit, is a little bit tough to get him into a two-handed shooting pose anyway. Flipping over to Jessica, picking her up again, she seems a little bit small, a little bit thin, but when we get to the comparisons, you'll see she fits right in with most. I don't know what it is. Again, the elbow, you don't even make 90. It's because of the elbow, and then the sculpt of the sleeve itself, it just crashes. It just goes only to here, which kind of sucks for Jessica because unlike Punisher, she's a puncher, she's a fighter, but you can't get her into a fighting stance that looks good. Looks like she's surrendering most of the time, you know? You get close, I guess, but yeah. Everything else is fine. Hell, her hips are better than most Spider-Mans we've gotten lately, but get to the elbow, and I guess now's the time for a helicopter to fly over the house. But get to the elbow and everything just goes to hell. Going over articulation, there's a ball on top of a hinge going up into the head. You can get his chin all the way down to his chest. You can have him look all the way up. Swivel. Not a lot of tilt. Another thing I've noticed too, when you get crazy with the articulating, his head wants to pop off. It's not loose, but it just seems to work its way off as you go around. So if he starts looking hunchbacked or kind of crazy necked, push his head back down. Hinge swivel at the shoulder, comes up to there, swivels around. Swivel at the bicep, swivel at the elbow. Hinge that comes up to about 90. Hinge swivel at the wrist, you get hinge, you get swivel. You get a ball joint in the mid-torso, but he gets a surprisingly good crunch. Not as great as an actual hinge, but I like that. Arc back, and then you can see that it opens up a little bit to the articulation. Or the skull on his chest is trying to eat you. Swivel at the waist. Hinges swivel at the hips, comes pretty much all the way up. Back, out. Pretty good range of movement for Marvel Legends these days. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee comes all the way up. Hinge at the ankle goes all the way back. Forward, the laces run into each other. It kind of stops. The left gets a little bit more. The laces go up on top of the others. I wish this side did that. Oh, we can. If you shift forward a little bit, you do get a little bit more ankle. It looks like it kind of rubs on the front right there, but hey, more ankle is always good. And then forward-facing pin for rocker. For Jessica, it's essentially the same thing. There's a ball going up into the head on top of a hinge. She can bury her chin. Up, not so great, only because of the hair. A little bit of tilt, swivel. Hinge and swivel at the shoulder, comes up past 90, swivels around. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, doesn't come up to 90, swivels. Hinge and swivel at the wrist, hinge, swivel. Ball joint mid-torso, gets pretty good forward. Great back. Side, side, then it rotates. Hinge and swivel at the hips, comes forward all the way, goes back, kind of runs into the butt sculpt right back here. And then out, great range of movement there. Swivel at the thigh, double knee comes all the way up. Hinge at the ankle, and the boot cuff does come up and off of the ankle. So it helps with the articulation. You can get back, you can get forward, good range of movement there. Then you bring the boot cuff back down, and then the forward-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, Punisher comes with a pistol. It's just cast in a straight gray, no paint on top of it. It's kind of that swirly, twirly plastic. It looks pretty good, a little bit plain. And this Punisher has trigger fingers, so you can put it into his hand, no problem. Twist it in, and he's holding it. And then he comes with a rifle. It looks good, the sculpt is great, but it's just cast in black. Again, no paint apps on it. So again, it comes off a little bit plain. And the gun is a little bit rubbery, so when you try to get him into a two-handed pose, it kind of pulls, kind of bends, kind of bows. But because of the trigger finger, you can get it into his hand. It does look great. You bring it around, but the problem comes in, you get to here. He looks great holding it like that, just kind of an at-ease pose, but when you try to bring it up, it doesn't really want to work. It's just the arm does not bend right, and you can't get it. You can get close, but the arm slowly starts working out. It starts bowing the gun. It looks funky. For accessories, Jessica comes with nothing but a bad attitude. I would have liked to seen a whiskey bottle here, but I completely understand why it didn't. Yeah. For comparison, here's Punisher with the movie Nick Fury, the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury. This is an older figure. It reuses parts. The arms don't go down any further than that. And the Punisher stands for longer than 5-10 seconds. So, vast improvement here. And then here he is with the comic style Punisher, that at Walgreens exclusive, I think this was, with the Jim Lee headband, because that's my favorite, the War Journal Punisher. You can see that the size of the Netflix Punisher, if you wanted to, you could use this in your comic collection, but the style is vastly different. The dirty, gritty, realistic Punisher probably won't fit as well on your comic shelf. And then for Jessica, here she is with the Toys R Us 2-pack Mary Jane. Again, some reuse between the two. The sizes work out great. Mary Jane works with the comic shelf. If you wanted to, Jessica Jones could work over there too. Or she goes on your live action shelf. Double duty for this figure. Again, great thing. And then here she is with last year's San Diego Comic-Con Purple Man. Like I said, comic figure, Jessica fits over there. She's not quite as realistic, I guess because of missing a 5 o'clock shadow and a broken nose, but you can veer her towards the comic side. So at the end of the day, I love these two figures. I love the Marvel movies, I love the Marvel Netflix series, I love it all. Yes, there's some slow parts, but I still dig it. And putting these up on my MCU shelf, yeah, I can't wait to see what they all look like together. Punisher, perfect representation of Bernthal's Punisher. It has the kind of the broken nose. He's got some blood up between his eyes. It looks like he kind of got the shit kicked out of him. Perfect. Looking at Daredevil in the package still, I kind of wish there was some blood on his lip because Daredevil got the hell beat out of him all the time too. But I can see what they were going for there. I can see what they were going for here. It completely works. Jessica, she's clean, but she still has that attitude. I guess it's the face. And with some of the poses you can get, she just looks like a badass. And like I keep mentioning, you can use her out on the comic shelf, you can use her on the Netflix shelf or your live action shelf. She works both ways, and I like that. Hasbro did a good job here. But having both of these now, I can't wait to open up Elektra and Daredevil. And then all of it has me hoping for Luke Cage at some point. With him, I don't mind, put him in street clothes, I'm good with that. But for Iron Fist, as much as I want a figure of that, and yes, I enjoyed that series too, even as slow and uneventful as it was, I still like Iron Fist. I want him to get a costume before we get an action figure of that. I want to see him in some green. I don't care if it's tights, or a jumpsuit, or if it's just a screen print on I want some green and yellow. I don't want him barefoot with sweats and living on the street. Or a suit. You know what I mean. So again, like all good action figures, these two make me want more. And that's the sign of a good action figure. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.